Hi, I'm Sandy Schreck for LBR Inspires, and today we're going to be creating a creative holiday wreath featuring our new octagon frames. I've taken two of the frames and I'm going to put them together using a small piece of Uglu to just come in so that they can be more of an offset presence. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a binding element with the gold bind wire. I'm using that Uglu for a nice clean look. And then we'll start with our floral materials. So I'm going to use some decorative foliages. The stems are wired, so you are able to breathe some life into this stem and create some movement. So we're going to be creating more of a crescent style centerpiece presence on this wreath. So we're just going to do some shaping into that form. I'm going to use the stem cutter to cut those off. And then also I have a waterproof berry. Lastly, we're going to prepare some cones to come in as a focal point. And I'm going to take the gold bind wire again and just start by coming around one of the cones and twist and repeat that process. And twist again, and then to bring in the third one, the same, so we create a focal area and then have some to be able to tie it onto our wreath. I also have some varieties of pine that we are going to utilize. Some cedar, some white pine, and some of the fir. And we're going to use that combination to create those textural differences. So right now I'm going to start layering some of these pieces together. First, starting off with our eucalyptus. And you can see that'll create a great topper on that. So we'll come in here. It's going to come in and do one bind and tie that off, just twisting it twice and then leaving that so that I can start laying in other materials. So we'll come in, our next largest stem is going to be the berry. You can see that it's wired, so you can breathe a little bit of life into that. And we'll lay that in, one going each way as well. And next we're going to start feeding in some of our fresh greens. So I didn't do a ton of shaping on that gold spray because once I've laid the greens in, I'll kind of want to add a lot more dimension by twisting those back and forth. There. And if this is in a higher traffic area, one little pro tip is to add in some Uglu strips, and you can just lay them in now at this point in here, and then you're able to just tap in some of those greens into your center. And so it's a way to be able to create a little bit more stability on your foliages. Some of those are going to dry out a little bit more, So if I add a piece here on the back as well, I can tap in some of this cedar. I'll also catch it with my bind wire, but it's just an extra way to add a little bit more stability. You could use the floral adhesive as well to create a little bit more depth and dimension, gluing some of those materials in. You can see I'm just coming back and forth, starting to bend up some of these foliage pieces up into the design so that we don't bury them. Fold this in half for a little bit more additional strength. Come through. So you saw how I folded that over, but that also will then give me a hook to be able to hang this on too, if you don't want to use the wire frame. I'm going to come in here. Hit that tie, grab my other one. I seem to have kind of lost my other end, but I think it's fine. And then lastly, we're going to come in with that focal area created by that cone cluster. All of these together. Then I can pull my ends up into the front and just kind of create some coils in to get a little bit of movement. But to just finish off my ends so that there's no sharp ends going to the back. I usually bring them forward up into the design. So once we've created this all together, then you have your binding point here on the back, and we're just going to take that and attach it to our octagon wreath. Do a nice clean twist on that, and then bring that forward as well, so that you end up with no sharp ends on the back side of the door. And I'll actually take those pieces, those end pieces, and bring them forward up in there. There can be our hook, but you can just come in and twist those ends around your finger and have them be a textural element right into your design. So now we really do our final adjustment, unburying some of that eucalyptus and berries, and just bring it up into the design in a more prominent position. So the most of your shaping you do in your final shaping, rather than shape it multiple times throughout. Save it to the end when you've got your final touch, and you really can kind of see how that's all going to come together.